Sairam, everyone.
Sairam.
So in the Gita and the Dhyana Vahini, so far what we have read is Swami is talking about the Dhyana method of Dhyana that is the most essential, fundamental for any sadhaka, and it's maybe slightly different from what anyone may have read or learned elsewhere. But Swami is not going into certain technical detail which are given more importance in other dhyanas. But definitely Swami is also giving certain guidance or certain instructions as to where we should sit, what time we should do, how we should sit, and so on. And he also goes on to say that these are disciplines that we should neither change and should follow as strictly as possible to achieve mastery and success in the path of dhyana. He does not want us to waste any time, and he insists that we should start as soon as possible and progress. I think with those words, I will ask Sister Kalyani to read on, please. Saira.
Chapter 3. The Goal of Meditation. Living is either pleasant or unpleasant, depending upon one's basic attitude towards life. See how the same object becomes pleasant once and unpleasant on another occasion. The thing welcomed with great fondness at one time becomes hateful at another time, and there is not even the desire to see it. The condition of the mind at those times is the cause of this state. Therefore, it is necessary to train the mind to be always pleasant. Control the temper of the mind. The waters of a river leap from mountains, fall into valleys, and rush through gorges. Tributaries join at various stages, and the waters become turbid and unclean. So too, in the flood of human life, speed and power increase and decrease. These ups and downs might happen at any moment during life. No one can escape them. They may come at the beginning of life, at the end, or perhaps in the middle. So one has to convince oneself firmly that life is necessarily full of ups and downs, and that, far from being afraid and worried over them, one should welcome them as adding to one's experience. One should not only feel like this, but one should be happy and glad whatever happens. Then all troubles, whatever their name, will pass away lightly and quickly. For this, the temper of the mind is essential.
Sairam, sister. Thank you very much, Sister Dushi. So as we can see, Swami is talking about the importance of the state of mind which causes the ups and downs in this life, and how we face various situations in our life. And Swami is sort of telling us that the ups and downs in life, what one experiences, may not be within our control, but how we face them is within our control. And to face them in the most equanimous state, our mind should be well trained, and so that it has the right temper, so that we can face life without any wavering of the mind or any trouble in our minds. So that's what I sort of take from this passage. I will ask others to share your thoughts, please, Saira.
Sairam, brother.
Yes, sister.
The first sentence is saying living is either pleasant or unpleasant, depending upon one basic attitude. What is the basic attitude towards life is matters here, right? So what is the basic attitude Swami is trying to tell us on this, please? Is that something we can see to analyze that part? Thank you, Sairam.
Saira, sister. Thank you very much. Anyone who would like to comment on what sister is referring to here? Yeah, Swami is talking about basic attitude towards life. I think that I will open it up for others to comment, please, Saira.
Swami is mentioning that according to the mental stage of that devotee, that how he is with God, his devotion with God, how he can take that good and bad and that happy and sorrow, all this. How's that he is taking like equanimity in that way? That is Swami is mentioning as Swami. Thank you, Sarah.
Sairam, as
Hi.
you progress on the spiritual path, you come to a stage when you feel that everything happens for a reason. When we can accept it that way, then the pleasant and the unpleasant situations will be always the same. We may get upset at that time, but really underneath we understand there is nothing happens without a reason. In that case, we will not be very much agitated. We'll be able to continue our work without any problem. Thank you, Sairam.
Saira, Auntie. Anyone else who would like to share your thoughts, please?
If I can say something, sorry.
Go ahead.
I think it's acceptance, our union with Baba or God, whoever we believe. Once we have accepted and we have surrendered, then we have that state of mind already that whatever Baba has in store for us, we are okay. There would be no ups and downs. There would be no anger, frustration, or extreme happiness because we are in a state of bliss. But it's easily said than done. But we're all trying. Yeah, Sairam.
So, Sairam, brother. So, in my understanding is, sometimes if you take an object, sometimes same object you like it. In another time you don't like it. So that means all depend on the mind. Sairam, brother.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
One perspective could be that the basic attitude toward life is whether or not we feel that this life is real. If we take everything that we see to be real, then life can be unpleasant. Even if it's pleasant for a short time, it's bound to become unpleasant. But I guess if we reach that understanding that none of this is real, then maybe we can be pleasant.
Thank you very much, sister. So thank you. Thanks for everyone. I think everyone sort of touched upon. But I think Swami also is saying, I think its reality is that if someone feels that they are lacking something, mind has this tendency of seeing that something is lacking. When it feels that something is lacking, it will always crave to fulfill that state of mind. And that's where it starts craving for this or that. And when those things happen, it's satisfied and it's happy. When it does not happen, it's sad and feels life is unpleasant. When things are coming in the way of achieving something, we get irritated, angry. When things are not very conducive, the mind is happy that it's able to continue to seek or work towards achieving something. So it's ultimately this lack of peace is the state of mind for many people in this world. So that determines how we face life. But for one, as many devotees have already spoken, when we feel that we have what we have the best in this world, the mind will never be craving for something. For that, meditation would help us to come to that state of surrender and being aware that we have God with us, and when we are in that state, we will not be affected by this or that. Is what I think I understand from this. Anyway, thanks everyone for sharing your thoughts.
Sairam, brother. So the basic attitude is a content on the life, what you have, something like that?
That's the mind is given to desire, sister. So I think contentment is the best state of mind,
Okay,
which
thank you,
cultivated.
Sairam. Thank you.
Expectations are the cause. We always expect something wonderful is going to happen in our lives. We cannot predict what is in store for us. So whatever things they come, if we have, as Arun said, the mental status that we keep ourselves calm and quiet and contented, that is the word, contented, then I think whatever comes is accepted as prasadam. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Auntie. I think someone has commented something. Wait. So, brother, I think Ranga is asking, when golden age is here, will this be the same? It's a question he has asked. When golden age is here, will this be the same? It's a question. I think the Swami has often said, brother, that golden age itself is the state of mind. When the mind has reached a certain stage, the golden age actually dawns in our own minds and may not be necessarily externally. And this may not dawn for everyone at the same time. So I think that's my understanding, but I will ask others to share. So Brother Ranga is asking whether is this the same as golden age?
So, Sairam brother, my opinion is golden age mean, so we have to change the word, we have to change our mind according to whatever we studied. So it is all depending on us. Thank you, brother.
Sairam, brother, Sairam. So I think we will move on, I guess, because it's reasonably straightforward. Swami is straight.
Concentration and one-pointedness are the keys. Every minute, from inside and outside, prompting and temptations arise and accumulate in people. One cannot attend to all of them at the same time, so one fixes attention on only the most important one. This is called concentration, avadana. Concentration is needed to grasp any subject well. Purposefully directing attention on a subject and fixing it there is one-pointedness, ekagrata. This is also a condition of the mind. Concentration and one-pointedness help to focus effort on any selected task. Concentration is essential for all. It is the foundation of all successful endeavor. It is needed not only for meditation, but even for worldly affairs and ordinary living. Whatever the task one is engaged in, doing it with concentration will develop both self-confidence and self-respect, for they are the result of the attitude of one's own mind. The mind may lean on either the bad or the good, and concentrated attention must be employed to keep the mind attached only to good prompting. Success or failure in the good task depends upon one-pointedness. One-pointedness will increase power and skill, but it cannot be won without conquering the worldly cravings that distract the mind. This one-pointedness, this conquest of the mind, is acquired by the exercise of meditation.
Sairam, everyone. So Swami is introducing, I guess, two concepts which are related. One is avadhana or concentration, and ekagrata, the one-pointedness of that concentration. He says that, as clearly seen here, that those skills are essential for everything in this world, including all worldly activities as well as our spiritual endeavors. And the thing which comes as a challenge to this, our own thoughts, which continuously are formed in our mind, and Swami wants us to discard those which are not essential and fix our mind only on the important ones which arise in our mind, or the important one which arise in our mind. That's what I can see here. I will open it up for others to comment on this, please, Saira.
So, Sairam brother, so according to this one, my understanding is the concentration is very important. If you are studying something, if you want to achieve something in our some professional, so we give up everything. We just concentrate only that particular subject and we do everything. But when we come to the spiritual, we don't. If we don't do the same task, give up worldly thing and you concentrate whatever important for the dhyana or meditation, we can achieve that one too. But it's all depending on the concentration. Thank you, brother Saira.
Sairam, brother Saira. Anyone else would like to comment, please?
Sairam, in the last paragraph, the Swami indicated that one-pointedness will increase power and skill, but it cannot be won without conquering the worldly cravings that distract the mind. Swami also indicated in the second paragraph that concentration is essential and it's needed not only for the meditation but also for the worldly affairs and the ordinary living. When I look at both side by side, some sort of the question arises in my mind that the one-pointedness cannot be won without conquering the worldly cravings that distract the mind. So if someone doing the concentration for the worldly affairs, they wanted to achieve something, and whether that can be achieved with the one-pointedness, without conquering the worldly cravings. So if I am done, say for an example, maybe I will put an example. I do the meditation not fully for the spiritual purpose. Most of us, even the Westerners and all the these days, all the communities, they do the meditation just for the positive feelings and also excel in exams and other worldly matters. So Swami beautifully indicated that this one-pointedness, it would be really successful if we do without conquering the worldly cravings. So if we do really for the worldly cravings, then that seems to be not workable for the to achieve some worldly matters. So whether it is contradicting or maybe there's some sort of my understanding, maybe it's different, or I'm pretty sure meditation, all these days, even in the office or mental health issues, they always say, do the meditation, not for the spiritual purpose, to keep your mind calm and to focus. Even in the office matters, they say, if you are unable to concentrate, go and sit in a quiet place for 10-15 minutes and come back, you can do well in your work too. So I thought maybe meditation also, even without looking at the spiritual perspective, I thought there is a benefit in it. But Swami is telling that if we use that for worldly cravings, it wouldn't work that well, kind of, the meaning, whether I misunderstand or whether some sort of clarification, if we made it, that would be really appreciated. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, sister. Anyone who would like to comment on this question?
Saira.
Yes.
Couple weeks ago, I think I had brought up my own example of how when I'm working, I sometimes feel the need to meditate, and during lunch break, instead of eating lunch, I do that. And then one of the brothers or sisters explained that in the true sense of meditation, that was not really meditation. It was like giving a little bit of a break to the mind. Because in true meditation, I think what I learned from that session that day was it should be focused on God. What I do during my lunch break, when I'm closing my eyes and sitting quietly without eating lunch, I'm actually maybe giving a pause to the flurry of activity in the brain and kind of doing like a reset. Okay, and then the mind is able to again go back into the routine work and things like that. What I understand between concentration and one-pointedness is they are interrelated and connected in one way, aren't they? I mean, if you don't concentrate, how would you fixate on one particular aspect? But does it have to be just in the context of meditation? For example, there was, when I was young, my grandmother used to tell me there was a story in Mahabharata about Dronacharya telling the Pandavas, he's teaching all of them archery, and he says, look at the eye of the, no, you have to aim the arrow at the eye of the bird. So the bird was sitting on a branch with a lot of leaves, and on the branch was part of a tree, and it was in a forest. So when he asked the students, the Pandavas, what do you see? They were describing everything, the forest, the everything, and then the bird. But when it came to Arjuna's turn, apparently he said he can only see the eye of the bird. And then he asked, what else do you see? He said, nothing else. I only see the eye of the bird. So to me, that is like one-pointedness, where the concentration is so focused onto one tiny but the most crucial aspect. Sairam.
Sairam, sister. Thank you. Anyone else would like to comment on that, please?
So, Sairam, brother, the sentence success or failure in the good task depend upon one pointedness. That means you have to focus only one object, whatever, doesn't matter. It could be a tree, it could be a stone, it could be whatever murti, whatever god you pray. Just focus only one item, and don't you let your mind run around. That's what in my understanding, brother. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam.
Hi, Ram. I just wanted to share something, and I thought maybe this is, I don't know if it's not correct, please correct me. But in science, there are two terms called accuracy versus precision. So something can be precise, like in the second picture, this bullseye. So all of the dots are together, so they're precise, it's kind of concentrated in that area, but it's not accurate because it's not hitting the bullseye. So it's concentration like this, where you can concentrate on different things. It doesn't have to be on God. You could concentrate on something evil and do it really well. Whereas one-pointedness means you're concentrated, but you're also hitting the bullseye. You're pointing your concentration toward the things that matter, like God.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you. Anyone would like to share your thoughts, please?
Sairam, in that last paragraph, one-pointedness will increase power and skill. So, if we really want to increase power and skill, then the worldly craving should be stopped. But in other cases, the one-pointedness may not develop such power and skill. No? So, actually, Bhagawan's main point is meditation for the self-realizing purpose. So, for the purpose of self-realization, the actual meaning of meditation, the real meaning, all the worldly cravings must be stopped. And when the worldly cravings is stopped, then automatically the one-pointedness comes to us. So Sister Anandi's comparison was one-pointedness is required for worldly affairs as well, and for spiritual affairs as well. But for the spiritual affairs, in the last paragraph, Bhagavan says one-pointedness will increase power and skill. So if we really want to increase power and skill, and we should not have worldly cravings. That is what I can answer. There's a little difference there and here. That's what I want to share it. Thank you.
Sairam, brother. Thank you very much. Anyone else would like to comment? So I think, sister, maybe I will give my 2 cents to this as well. As Brother Sivadas has told, the key word is increasing power and skill. in Telugu Swami said Shakti Samarthyama Vritti Cheyudu. Basically, your Shakti means your master, strength, as well as Samarthyam, I would say mastery. Your mastery and the strength of concentration will be significantly increased by this. And then Swami goes on to say, we also have to understand that in this world, many people get focused. Any success in this world requires concentration, and people who focus achieve those goals. But once they achieve those goals, then the mind has to find something else to concentrate on. So what happens is the mind flits from objective to objective continuously in their life. But what this type of concentration does not give is a steady state of mind. Well, even for such people who pay a lot of attention and achieve great success, sometimes the peace of mind is lacking. You can see sports enthusiasts, people who have gone to great heights, people who have made great strides in accumulating wealth, people who have gained great positions. To achieve those, they would have spent a lot of effort and concentration. However, the mind is more powerful for them to control because the mind runs after this or that. And because of that, they lack peace of mind. So what they find at the end of the day is, even though they have been able to focus the mind is much more powerful than them, and buddhi sometimes is unable to contain. And this results in lack of peace or some troubled state of mind. Whereas in the path of spirituality, what we are trying to gain is a steady state of mind, which is unruffled at any point, and what we gain is never lost. What we gain is mastery over the mind itself. In the worldly affairs, when we expose our mind, actually we are giving strength to the mind, and we are actually powerless against that mind which is pulling us towards a certain goal. The strength is given to the mind, but in this path of spirituality, we gain strength over the mind. And for that, the mind should not be given much importance to run after what it wants, whereas we direct the mind towards the goal to which we want to go. As Swami says, always bad things or worldly things, people's concentration is extremely good, but nothing much is achieved by that kind of use of the mind, because the mind is gaining strength day by day, and it's almost impossible for us to contain it when we really want to contain it. And that's my understanding. So I will ask anyone else who would like to. And I think Sister Kalyani basically nicely talked about the accuracy and the preciseness. The thing is, in the world, you can flit from object to object, but it will never be a steady one. Once you achieve, you will never lose it. That is the type of concentration Swami wants us to achieve, from what I understand.
Thank you, brother. It is very, very wonderful, very expansive, and very covering widely on the subject. Thank you.
Yes, I agree. It's well covered and very good explanation. I got it, the difference between, because if you concentrate on the worldly cravings, it would fulfill your desire, but then again another one, it would come up. But if you really focus on the spiritual side, it never comes back. It would somehow you would move up and up, and you would achieve your destination. But worldly cravings, it would be coming and satisfy yourself for a temporarily, and then again it would come up, So that is the main difference. I really got it. Thank you so much.
plus the in the other meditation, worldly aimed meditations, brother said, mind is strengthened, mind is given power, mind power. Even with the glass, even the glass that we drink water, that can be broken by the concentration, the mind concentration. But he nicely said, my brother said, that in that spiritual meditation, we bring the mind under our control. We are the master and the mind is a servant. So that is a vast difference, and let us all think over it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sivadas. That was a very good explanation. Saku auntie.
Okay, thank you.
So I think we can move on, Sister Kalyani and Sister Dushi, if it's okay.
Yearn for the right thing. There are two types of people, one set on accusing themselves as sinners and the other flattering themselves as great. Both types are being worried by their own mental aberrations. What they both need is mental satisfaction, and this can be obtained by meditation. Through meditation, understanding will increase and wisdom will grow. For this, a person should develop interest in and a taste for meditation. That is to say, a yearning that admits of no other step and that will not tolerate any obstacle. Of course, one may yearn to hear music and derive joy therefrom, or see the bodies of near relatives who have died and derive sorrow therefrom. Yearning may thus have pleasant or even unpleasant consequences. Yearning must have the strength to inspire endeavor. In fact, yearning is but dormant endeavor, and endeavor is yearning in action. When yearning is weak, endeavor declines. When one is strong, the other is also active.
Sairam. As we can see, Swami wants us to develop yearning, the right yearning for the right thing. And once that is done, he also wants us to put the yearning into action, which becomes endeavor, the right activity or the right effort. As Swami has earlier said, there are two types of people. Some people think they are sinners, nothing can be achieved and this and that. They also don't make effort. We will say, we will never be able to achieve meditation in this life, and so on. And so they will not even make effort because they are so pessimistic. They think we will never achieve. We have wasted so much time. How can we achieve? All such thoughts will come, and that becomes a dampener on our efforts. So Swami says that should not be given room for. And the second one is that there are people who say we can achieve things, and there also the mind is flattering itself. And both of them can one day fall flat, because that kind of enthusiasm also doesn't last, because they will try for a little while and then they find they are unable to succeed in meditation because the mind has become so powerful. So they also give up. And Swami says these are aberrations of the mind, and for this we have to develop what is called mental satisfaction or contentment. And Swami says that can be achieved by meditation, which will actually help us to progress with the right thing, right yearning for the right thing, and we also endeavor to do it. And Swami says, the result is the wisdom in us will gradually grow. Understanding also will improve. So that is the gain which we achieve through the right kind of meditation on the right object, is what Swami says. That's what I understand. But I will open it up for anyone to comment and share your thoughts, please. Saira.
Sairam, this is like this great example. The minute whenever we want to do something, whenever we think we can, and we gave up, so we can move from there. And the other thing is like the people say, oh, we can't do that, and that is like when that ego starts coming. That's what you fall flat. For example, the Hitler, once he was said, whenever he kept showing the world one by one, so he can get Great Britain easily. So whenever if he attacked Great Britain, he captured all over the world because they've sold, the sun never set because they have too many colonies at the time all over the world. But he wanted to go to Russia because he said his ego, and he went there and he fell flat because the wrong choice he chose it at the time because of the weather, and his soldiers start to die and everything. By the time the world start to go against him and they pull out of it, and right there his end. Even though he's winning, but his ego works there. That's what I think. Like this, so he mentioned there is two types of people. So that's my understanding, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you, Saira. Anyone else would like to share in thoughts, please?
So, Sairam brother, I like the second paragraph. The person should develop interest in a taste for meditation. If you go through that meditation, when you experience the peace in a self, then you will get the discipline, faith, and vairagya. You are not going to give up for that one. Any difficulties, you face it, but you will have the discipline and you will practice more and more and you achieve that one because you had the taste. Thank you, brother.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you.
So, when we want to get something, we want to achieve something, we have to have the journey. That journey is very, very important there. That means that I have to achieve something, I have to think about that, which way I can get it. I had to put that, first of all, that I had to get something like a flower. I had to get a flower from that plant. I had to aim to that, and I aimed to the place, and I tried to catch it because it's far from that. I had to reach that the thorns and everything that there. Before that, I had to aim that. I had to get the journey to get the flower. Then only I can get it in my hand. Otherwise, very, very difficult to get it. First, we had to get that journey. That's what is one way to say that to me. Before I had to achieve the meditation, I had to reach the goal. We had to think about that. We had to get the meditation. I had to do the meditation anyhow. I had to reach the place. I had to have the journey first. Then only I can reach that goal. That's what Swami is trying to say. That thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brothers. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts, something which appealed or touched you?
So when Swami gives the example of the yearning to hear music and derive joy therefrom, Swami is giving that as an example of a yearning that can cause, I guess, a worldly yearning or a worldly desire. So even that desire to hear music or listen to nice music or divine music or even bhajans, is that something that's considered not the right yearning?
Very, very good question, sister. Anyone who would like to comment on that, please? So maybe I will comment on it if there is no one else commenting. Yes, Sister Kalyani, I'm just introducing a technical term which Swami has used at other places. It's called rasa swadana. Rasa means a taste. or for something which basically takes away your attention. So even in the spiritual part, for example, if we are singing a bhajan, in a bhajan, many things can attract us. When somebody is singing, the voice may attract us. The musicality or the intricacy in the music can attract us. Or the name can attract us. So we should be discriminating and seeing what exactly is the mind is trying to always go towards what it likes. So for example, if we like somebody singing in a certain voice, it's with certain musical expertise, we enjoy. And then somebody else starts singing, for example, they may not be singing musically, and that can completely change our state of mind. We'll saying, why did we come for this bhajan? You know, all and sundry are singing here. It's for a common man, it's an experience. And then, so there we have to see what did we really focus on and what was our mind doing. Because we may think, because when somebody sings so well, just it's easy to lose yourself in devotion. Because the mind is so happy, it doesn't interrupt you thinking of God. Okay, but the mind is still powerful. But when then someone is singing not so well, the mind is irritated. It will throw tantrums. You know, we should somehow tell the bhajan coordinator to make these people stop singing and all that. Unfortunately, we have not focused on the name. So the thing is, then this does not mean bhajan coordinator should allow anyone and everyone to sing, because in bhajan, all people of all levels of concentration are coming, and they should be provided a conducive environment. But for someone who is trying to learn how do we focus on the Lord, we need to learn to even discard that enjoyment of music and try to go for the name of the God. Name of God should be the one which should thrill us. That's why for great devotees, however someone said a name of God, they will go into ecstasy. Okay, they are not affected by the musicality or the enjoyment of the ear. They just go straight to the crux of the matter. So it was a very wonderful question. So these are places where we can actually practice concentration on the name of God, on the form of God. I think that's why naturally Swami has created this kind of environment sometimes in other sadhana paths. Even those things should not distract us. We should just go for the Lord, the name of the Lord, the form of the Lord. That is also a practice in concentration from what I can understand. So it was a wonderful question, because sometimes we delude ourselves that we are doing good sadhana, but the mind is sometimes such a trickster that it gets in and it takes charge, and we should not make it become strong. Very good question, Sister Saira. Others can share any thoughts. Saira.
Thank you for that. That's a very beautiful explanation, for this about that question. It's very beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate that answer.
So, Sairam brother, this bhajan is a very, very good tool to control the mind, because bhajan, bhakti, japam, namasvarnam, all three is there when you sing, when you participate in that one. Even if when you clap your hand, the Baba said all the 6 bad qualities flew away. So this is the tool to control the mind to the bhajan. Thank you very much, brother.
Sairam. So it's very nice discussion, I guess. If anyone has something to say, please say. Otherwise, we will move on to the next para. Okay, Sister Kalyani, you can advance, and Sister Dushri.
Meditation gives concentration and success in all tasks. Through meditation alone, great personages and sages, rishis have controlled their mental activities. directed them towards the pure, sattvic path, established themselves at all times in contemplation of the Lord, and finally succeeded in achieving union with the Godhead. First yearning, then selection of the goal, then concentration, and through the discipline, conquest of the mind. That is the object of meditation. One must give up the craving for material comfort and the attachment to sense objects. One must direct the false fears, the absurd desires, the sorrow, the worries, and the artificial pleasures that now fill mind. That is to say, one must discriminate and train oneself to realize that everything is as illusory as the ghost in the well. Everyone needs this self-education. The pathetic condition of everyone is due to its absence. Meditation is the remedy for this state of mind.
So Sairam, sister, thank you. So Swami is again, giving various ways. Swami is elaborating on how we should learn concentration and what we should discard. And he says, the reality is that sorrows, worries, artificial pleasures, false fears, all this actually crowd the mind today. And when they crowd, they also take over space and distract us from really focusing the mental energies on the right thing. So Swami is just identifying all these and helping us to sort of identify these problems which we face so that we can discard them. And thus we will develop a state of mind through meditation so that our condition is not pathetic. I think that's what Swami uses. So I will stop here, and anyone else who would like to comment or share your thoughts, please go ahead.
Hi, Ram. So Swami gave an example to purifying the mind by telling a glass of salt water, to take the salt away, we need to add more and more clean or pure water. Eventually, it will become clean water, becoming less and less saltiness, and then eventually it will become pure. Likewise, a mind filled with false fears, sorrow, worries, and all those, by more focusing on more and more meditation or thinking of contemplation of God, eventually makes our mind pure and will eventually lead to self-realization. That's my thought. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. Anyone else would like to add anything, please?
Sairam, Swami has given that four ways that finding that last goal there. First is journeying, the second is concentration, then contemplation and meditation. There's 4 ways, like a rose bush. I was telling that, like rose bush there, we can, there is an example that has given that first we had to journeying there, that I had to get the rose, a particular rose I had to pick from the bushes. So I had to concentration, that how can I go to that place, and there are thorns and branches there. Without touching the thorns and branches, I had to reach their place. So I had to concentrate there. How can I go there? Then that I had to. The third is contemplation. That I had to put the right place. Where how can I pick the flower there? How can I concentration there and contemplation, that I had to, which one I had to get the several flowers there. I had to get a certain flower without touching the thorns and branches. So the third one is concentration. Then after that That meditation. Meditation is that I had to pick the flower and put it to the lotus feet. You know? That we had the thorns and branches are that worldly disturbance. You know, that our desires going here and there. For that we had to we can always Swami says the namasmarana is that right tool, that namasmarana and it's the right tool, that namasmarana, that's the right one, that get off from the worldly desires to get our feeling to that right, go to that right to that goal. That's the main things I'm trying to say. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts?
Maybe just like a trivial thing, but the saying that Swami uses, realizes that everything is as illusory as the ghost in the well. Like the ghost in the well, does that just mean like something that's not real? Or?
Yes, because when you look at a very deep well, which is so dark, we will imagine, there's a ghost. Though it may not exist, we people who have to get down to the well to fetch water, if we are afraid that there's a ghost, or if somebody tells there's a ghost, don't climb, or even without others telling, we will be scared. But a person determined will go step by step and be will not be affected by this imagined ghost, and will be able to go and find the water who actually he craves. So sometimes when there are uncharted territories where we have never traveled before, we will imagine all sorts of things which will be there to harm us, or to hurt us. That becomes worries and fears. And I think Brother Rajakumar talked about the thorns. If we think the thorns are going to prick us, then we will not even attempt. We will get unnecessarily scared. But someone who is really bent on getting a rose, even if the thorn were to prick and hurt, will ignore that and go for the goal. So I think it is just that kind of determination is needed. And sometimes, of course, we should not unnecessarily harm ourselves. So we should discriminate also. I think those are some of the things which Swami is sort of telling us.
And just a sentence before that also, where Swami is saying one must direct the false fears, the absurd desires, etc., that now fill the mind. So he's saying to direct it, not really get rid of it. What does he mean by that?
Yes, I also looked at it. I think we had to go to the Telugu version to sort of understand what exactly it is. The word direct, I will check and get back, sister. I think it's a very good question, but I think we will have to direct the mind through that, is what I understand. But anyone else would like to comment? I don't assist. Auntie, yes, Auntie.
This is Sakwa Auntie. I want to know the meaning, some examples for artificial pleasures. What does it mean?
Okay, thank you. Anyone who would like to comment on that, please?
But worldly pleasures are that artificial pleasures, no? Worldly things. Yes. That's not real.
we think sometimes, by achieving something, we are going to be pleased. But it will not last. It is only a temporary thing, which pleasure, that's all. So if we understand that these are all artificial things, which are giving us the joy only for a moment, and then that will not last long. So that's, I think, is the artificial pleasure. Thank you.
Money and is there, so
Thank you very much.
she can check that the directing. No, I was, when I was reading, I thought that direct away. Then I put the word away. So one must direct away, take it out, something like that. But
can it be getting rid of negative qualities?
Yeah.
Also, the artificial pleasures can be positions and possessions, properties. Swami says properties are not proper ties. So I thought they may be temporary.
Yeah, I also will go with what Brother Sivadas is saying, that must direct away the false fears and absurd desires. That's, you have to keep away, kind of. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, I really liked Sakku Auntie's the question. Whenever we refer to pleasures, most of the time, or 99%, it's always worldly pleasures. And even in the worldly pleasures, normally it would be the temporary pleasures, we all know. But there may be a particular reason why Swami said artificial pleasures. Instead of artificial, it could have said temporary pleasures. Normally pleasures are temporary. You don't need to say temporary pleasures. It would always mean to pleasures are temporary. The artificial, I also thought there must be a particular reason. Maybe it could be some sort of, maybe the differences in the translation, or there could be a special meaning for that artificial unity. That's my little thought on this one. There's a valid question why it has been referred to artificial unity as an adjective to the pleasures unity. That's a really valid question. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, it could be, say, for example, the mirage. So we travel on the road and we see at a distance there's water. And as we go near it, and we don't see the water. So before, until such time, I was happy. Oh, there's water, beautiful, beautiful. And when I near it, it is no more. So there are certain things appears to be pleasurable, but really they are not pleasurable. They are false. So there are things like that. There are things like that in our life. There are stories also for that, but I don't want to do that. But
can add artificial is not real. That we think is real, but the only real thing is or union with, only true happiness is union with God. Only we think it's they are real pleasures, but they are artificial. Thank you, Saira.
So I will just read the Telugu. I was able to find it. I will just read it and then we will see. Manasunaku kalgina asatya bhayamulanu vivaritamayina కోరికలను దుఃఖములను బాధలను కల్పిత సుఖములను తొలగించవలెను. Okay, so Mani Auntie, can you sort of tolaginchavalenu means what exactly?
Tolaginchavalenu, discard it.
So we have to discard. Okay, tolagincha. Means Thura means in Tamil.
Yeah, if you throw it away.
Yes, throw it away. Okay. And Swami uses words for these artificial pleasures. What Swami says, Kalpita Sukhamulan. That means imagined pleasures.
Yeah, imagined pleasures. Instead of artificial pleasures, you can say that imagined pleasures. Pleasures, you imagine that pleasures will come out of it. That's not true. It's a Brahma or an illusion, you can call. Thank you.
I hope that answers some of the direct away with, I think, the question. Tholagincha means give it up.
Thank you to all. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, Sai Ram. Okay, someone can, okay, if I think maybe it's almost time, we'll just read one more paragraph, I guess. No harm. Sister Kalyani, if it's okay,
Reaching the goal through meditation. Through meditation, it is possible to bring into memory the paradise that is one's empire, discarding the transitory creations of mind as a dream and a delusion. By engaging oneself systematically and calmly in meditation, meditation can be made effective and tranquil. Thus, the road toward the highest experience is laid. A new understanding dawns, clear and unruffled. When the heights of meditation are reached, this understanding becomes so strong that one's lower nature is destroyed and burned to ashes. Then only you remain. The entire creation is a delusion of your mind. One alone is truth, Satya, the Lord. Being awareness bliss, Satchidananda, the highest Atma, the one is the self, Sivoham. The truth, Satya, is so subtle and so soothing. Once it is reached, there is no meditation and no meditator. All merge into one. That is the fixed, illuminated experience. Exulting within that one is pure knowledge. The wise one, Jnani, will be aware only of Atmic bliss, Atma Anubhava. That is the goal, the fruit of immortality. Attaining this transcendent experience, the yogi finishes meditation and moves among people resplendent with divinity. In the yogi, the Vedas find fulfillment. The yogi is transformed into a pure being. Only meditation has the capacity to make one transcend the vicissitudes of time and space and make one ever the same equanimous individual, as if one is another creator himself.
thank you very much, sister. Brother Ranga was asking about golden age, the age into which we all enter. And I think that's very well described by Swami as the final goal and what the state which we will enjoy when we succeed in meditation. And I don't have any words to explain other than just to say it's, it's only God. Our experience is only God. We will never be far from that experience. We will continuously enjoy. And as Swami says, the person will move among people in this world resplendent with divinity. So, that is what the real achievement of meditation. And Swami wants us to aim for that supreme goal. So that, as he says, you yourself become God, as if one is another creator himself. By knowing that state, by knowing that Lord and sort of merging with the Lord, the mind is at least merged in that Lord. That is what we are trying to achieve through this meditation. And that's the goal Swami is setting for ourselves. And he's described it so wonderfully, very beautifully for us to contemplate on. So with those words, I will stop. Others can definitely share your thoughts, please.
Can we that say that it's Jivan Mukta? The state is of Jivan Mukta. When he reaches that state, he's all happy. I mean, he's in Ananda, he's Sachidananda himself. He attains that state.
Thank you. But here, the last word, not only Jivan Mukta, he's a creator himself. So, Baba is giving the yogi such a great height. So, this proves that meditation is a must for each and everyone. And we can argue work or worship or knowledge. Other three paths can reach to this level. But what clearly says, and even in below paragraph or above paragraph, I've forgotten that he said, I am saying this loud and clear. Do meditation. So let us take this as serious sadhana. Bhagavan is asking us humbly and pleasingly. So not only Jivan Mukta, is a greatest status is given to this yogi who completes his meditational path. Thank you, Saira.
Sairam. Sairam auntie also, Mani auntie. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts, please? We have 2 comments. I think Brother Ranka says, yeah, thanks. I think he had the question and Swami has answered it here. And I think another brother, Prema, I think, he or she has also said that it's high time we take it up and find God within us. Very nice. Thank you.
That is why Swami wrote this as one of the first 9-point code of conduct for Sai devotees, meditation and prayer.
Yeah, yes, good.
So, Sairam brother, so once we achieve the goal, Swami says there's no between God and the person who achieved the goal is no difference. The reason is we can say like if we have a pot, we are air, outside also air. So you are merged into the air. So that means inside and outside is same. So you are like a God. So there's no difference. Once you get that blessing from that God, the love and the grace, you are merged into that. You can merge through the meditation. Thank you, Saira.
And so the Advaitic principle, Bhagavan, in different angle, using different words, has been emphasizing that Advaita principle, that there's no difference. You are also God. You are also God. Again and again, Baba is saying all the speeches, discourses, and the writings. He is saying that using the words that we are so overjoyed of his usage of words, and the example is Creator himself. Yes. Thank you. I think the time is up.
Sairam, Swami also saying that you are God, but you have to reach that point. You have reached that level to that, like that Swami says the stage, that whatever Swami says that what is that state of that level, that state you have to go there. Then only we can say that I am God. Until then, we have to wait, and we have to achieve that. We have to put in that journey, and we have to reach the goal. Until we reach the goal, we can say we are God.
Saira, that's what Baba is emphasizing on meditation. Through meditation, we have to come to this state.
Yes, sure. That's right. 100%. Thank you.
So it's about 4. Anyone else? Somebody wanted to say something?
Sairam, one more quick point on this one. In the beginning of this, the Dhyana Vahini, Swami is nicely saying that what is the importance of the meditation and what are the things we have to concentrate, contemplate, and all those things. And Maybe now it's like Brother Sivadas said, Swami is pleasing and telling us in a nice way, and maybe in the upcoming passages or the chapters, Swami may be telling us, if you don't do this, what would be the consequences? Maybe I am waiting for that part too. What would be the consequences if we are not contemplating, if we are not doing what Swami said? What kind of consequences we will be facing, and I am waiting for that part too. Thank you, Sairam. Lovely discussion.
So Sairam, everyone, it's about 4:50. I think we have reached the time for the day. I was just, I think because we was also got Swami took us to such great heights. But if you look at the second or third sentence, Swami is saying, by engaging oneself systematically and calmly in meditation, it can be made effective and tranquil. Okay, Swami wants us to systematically and calmly pursue this path of meditation or the practice of meditation. That's, I think, Brother Adesava, I think Brother Rajagopal also said, we have to make that journey, make that. And Swami wants us to say, okay, I've shown you the goal. I've described you. Now you march steadily, step by step, in a systematic manner. And then you can, that's the fruit of all your efforts. So Swami has, painted us the path, given us the roadmap and described what the goal is like. And Swami, I'm sure, will take us through and will help us along the way. With those words, I will ask to close the session today with Samastaloka and Shanti Shanti. Sai. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sairam.
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 Thank you.
Sairam.
Thank you, Sairam.